All right, it's time to get Mr. Gavaskar into the show. Mr. Gavaskar, good evening, sir. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, first up, the Australians are, of course, putting up a brave face after the tragic death of Phil Hughes. But realistically, how difficult do you think it will be for them to play this Test series?
Well, look, I think these are all professional sportspersons and professional cricketers. They all are trained to forget about the previous ball and to focus on the next ball. That is what top sportspersons do, and I think the Australians will certainly do that. Perhaps the intensity, the aggressiveness, the verbal aggressiveness might not be there, and I think that will only be for the better of the game. But I think as the Test match progresses, certainly you will find that the match will be just like in the past.
Right now, Mr. Gavaskar, Kohli has confirmed that he will captain the team in the first Test in Adelaide. Even though it's for one Test, how much more responsibility will this be, you think, for a man who is also one of the main batsmen in the Indian team and one of those rare few who have some experience of playing down under?
You know, I think it's pretty much understood, at least as far as Indian cricket is concerned, that Virat is the next in line. So I just fail to understand this hurry to anoint him as the skipper, because yes, it is just a one-off situation, and in fact a one-off situation is a lot better because there's not much pressure on him. But I think we should stop having these huge expectations of Virat Kohli in a one-off Test match. Just let him feel what Test captaincy is about, because even with Test captaincy, captains grow by every Test, every match that they captain. They learn from experience, they learn from their mistakes, and the good captains generally get better. So this will be actually a great learning curve for him. And then, as the vice captain, he will be constantly in Mahendra Singh Dhoni's ear for the remaining 3 Test matches. So there will be a lot of input from him as well. So I think we should just ease off a little bit on this great hurry to try and anoint Virat Kohli as the captain.
Now, Mr. Gavaskar, there are certain reports coming in that Bhuvneshwar Kumar might just miss the first 2 Tests because of an ankle injury. Apparently, he will only be fit in time for the Boxing Day Test in Melbourne. How big a blow will this be for India, especially considering the fact that Bhuvi was one of those bowlers who looked really good in that first warm-up match?
And I think this is where our support staff has to be accountable. Because one of the most important factors, as far as bowlers in particular are concerned, the quicker bowlers are concerned, is to be able to gauge the hardness of the pitch. The hardness of the surface in England, the hardness of the pitches in Australia are completely different. Therefore, the support staff hopefully has been advising the bowlers on the kind of footwear to be used. And I think that is one of the reasons why a lot of bowlers seem to have problems, is because of the footwear that they use for different surfaces is wrong. Just like you have in tennis, the footwear is different for clay courts, footwear is different for grass courts, footwear is different for hard courts. And I think while the tennis players have their own support staff telling them, hopefully that's what's happening with the Indian team as well. Because if it's not happening, then unfortunately you're going to have injuries like this.
Right now, staying with the fast bowling department, Mr. Gavaskar, Ishant Sharma is someone who promised a lot, especially on the 2008 tour to Australia. But his career has seen many ups and downs since then. Now, at this present point in time, he seems to be exuding a special kind of confidence. He captained the team in the second warm-up match, and he has been bowling fast in the warm-up games as well as in the nets. Could this tour, you think, be the turning point in Ishant Sharma's career?
Yes, it will be. It will be a turning point, because he really has to live up now to the billing of being the #1 bowler for India. He's not opened the bowling generally. He's probably been the first change bowler, because the new ball is handled by Mohammad Shami or by Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So I think this is again a fantastic opportunity for him to live up to his billing as the #1 bowler. And if he uses all his experience, certainly he will be able to make a huge contribution.
Well, hopefully he will, Mr. Gavaskar. Now, moving from Ishant to another fast bowler, Varun Aaron. Now, when he is not injured, he looks like an extremely menacing fast bowler. Can he perhaps be India's trump card on this tour if he manages to stay out of injury?
Yes, because you know what he's got apart from pace? He's got that lovely outswinger. And that lovely outswinger, if he gets it on target, then I think he will pick wickets as well. He might just be a little bit expensive, because he's got to try and get that ball fuller, in trying to get that ball to move that much more. And sometimes he might, because of striving for extra pace, he might overpitch. And I think that is where the captain has got to be understanding with the field placing. But if he gets that ball on target, that outswinger, then he will be our trump card.
All right, from bowling to batting now, what would your advice be to the Indian batsmen, especially the likes of Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma? These are batsmen who at times are prone to playing rash shots. After all, the Adelaide pitch will suit the batsmen much more.
Oh yes, I think Adelaide is probably the best batting pitch in the world. Yes, I think it has a little extra bounce at the start, but as the days go on, it is one of the best batting pitches in the world. So I think what you need to do really is to show a lot of patience. Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma, they need to give themselves a little bit of time to settle down, to get used to the bounce. Once you get used to the bounce, the extra bounce that is there on Australian surfaces, then these are the best conditions to score runs on. And I think that's what they need to do. So therefore, I think they need to give themselves just that little time to get used to the bounce and then unfurl their shots.
Right. Overall, Mr. Gavaskar, the way this young side is exuding confidence at this point in time, do you think the score line can at least be a better one than what it was on the last tour?
Well, we're all hoping, and for that to happen, really, it's our batsmen who have to stand up and be counted. They're disappointed in England. They just seem to have given up in England, particularly after the third test, when there really was no reason for them to do so, because it would have just been a one-all situation at that stage. But the fourth and fifth tests in England were complete disasters as the batting just completely gave up. And I think that is where, if India's batting shows determination, shows that they have the discipline to cut down on certain shots, then they will be able to put up enough runs on the board for our bowlers to try and dismiss Australia. So really everything is in the court of the batsmen. They have to perform and give the bowlers the support.
And in that context, once again, you would say that Adelaide is a great venue to start the series at, considering it is a great batting pitch.
The best. Absolutely the best pitch to start on, because that will be exactly what the Indians would want. I don't know from here what kind of surface there is. There could be a little bit of grass. When we played in 1985-86, there was a heck of a lot of grass on the Adelaide surface. But luckily what happens is Adelaide, the heat, the sun can be out, and that can burn the grass off pretty quickly. But undoubtedly the best batting pitch in Australia is Adelaide.
And a great venue to start the series at, in hindsight. Mr. Gavaskar, thank you so much, sir, for joining.